get this recording here. Okay, so today what we are going to cover is cover Google Slides and creating a virtual Bitmoji classroom in Google Slides as well. So like I said earlier, make sure you sign in here. Here's the bit.ly link that you can access. It's also in chat. If you don't see it in chat, say something in chat and someone will put it in chat again. And then I do have a quick, I think, 3-question evaluation for you to fill out. I'll see this, and then your administration at Monmouth Roseville will see this as well. So put your feedback, positive, negative, whatever it may be, so they can hopefully best meet your needs for your journey learning about remote learning, blended learning during this time that we are in. Again, I will share the recording with Becky from today, but then it will also be on the YouTube channel as well. Real quick, a little bit about me if this is your first time here in a workshop with us. My name is Lisa Schwartz. This is my 22nd year in education. First 19 years I did spend in the classroom, and I taught various subjects, but majority of the time I did teach computers and computer science, and majority of the time was using Microsoft. The last few years in the classroom I did start using Google, and the kids saw me as a learner as well because I was trying to learn Google as I was working with the students with Google. So did I make mistakes? Oh, heck yes. I made lots of mistakes, but I learned from them, and sometimes the mistakes, I learned more when I made the mistakes. Currently I am working for the Learning Technology Center here out of Illinois. We are funded through ISB through a grant. LTC has been around for 20+ years. Currently, I am working here in Central Illinois, working with school districts and ROEs throughout Central Illinois as a regional ed tech coordinator. If you haven't heard of the LTC before, here's some information on the LTC. Here's our mission. If you look here on slide 5, here's some links I've got. And then I've also created those links into a Bitmoji virtual classroom that I can share with you as well. It's here on slide 8. So it kind of just shows you can share links out in different ways. And we will go through on how to make that virtual classroom. Our agenda here for today, I am going to have you introduce yourself on this collaborative Google Slides that I have. Don't panic if you've never used this before. It sounds like based off of the survey, we've got some newbies out there, so I'll walk you through it. If you're not, some of you already know what to do, and you can jump right in. Then we will go over the Bitmoji virtual classroom, and then some other tips and tricks here in Google Slides. So let's just jump right in and go ahead and introduce yourself. How do you do this? If you click on slide 6, I have the link here in slide 2, or slide 6, direction number 2. And again, I'm not in presentation mode, and if you're not either, you might have to click twice. Once here on the introduce yourself, I've got it linked here. So right underneath it, I can click on that slide deck that I have it linked to. You can open that, and let's see if you can edit this yourself too, if I shared it correctly. Sometimes I do make mistakes, and maybe I don't share it out correctly. So we'll see if you guys have editing rights. One thing, sometimes if you're double checking to see if you've did the settings correctly, what you could do, I'm going to copy this link right here. I'm going to go to my personal account, and here on my personal account, I can paste the link in here, and I can test it that way. You could also test it in an incognito window as well, and I can show you that too. So it looks like then I've got access to this here on my personal account, and then can I go ahead and type on it? I can. So I deleted it because it looked like Brenda already started typing here. If you've been in, I think I did this in one other workshop, so if you've already done this again, go ahead, you know what's expected. Change it up, maybe add something else to it. But if you've never done this before, don't panic. We'll walk you through it. So as we can see right here, I've shared this out to you through a link. Right now, you guys are all coming up here as anonymous animals. Usually in the classroom, you will, when you share out this to students or staff, it will be through their Google account or through a Google Classroom. So we will know who is working on this real time. It'll say their either initials or have their picture up there. Right now, when you're on the slide deck, you probably should see, if you look right here, you would see maybe my picture here on one of them. So right here on slide 2, we've got Brenda started typing. How do you know which slide to go to? Type on one you don't see another animal. Do you see there's another animal here? So here on slide 5, there's 2 animals fighting over who's going to maybe type on slide 5. So it looks like Carl started typing on slide 5. Maybe Carl's an anonymous llama, so maybe, or the buffalo, and then, so he's a llama, so the buffalo is going to another page. Does that mean you have to get off that page? No, you could be on another page just to look at their information. But sometimes, you know, in this case, I didn't assign everybody a number, and usually people figure it out that they go to one that they don't see another animal on. So some people have already started figuring out how to put a selfie in here or upload an image of themselves. That's perfectly fine. So I'll go to a blank one here so I'm not messing anyone's up here. So here I'm on slide 20. So again, I'm going to, you know, put my name here. And can I change the color of it? I can. What I've learned is, I don't know, you know, before the workshop where everyone's level with Google Slides is, so I start off with a template. Some of you might need it, some of you might not, but again, I do that. Some of you who have used Google Slides before, feel free. Or some of you, you know, who are figuring it out right now, that you can move your name. You can move text boxes around the screen. And then talk about what you teach. And then you can put that there if you want. You can delete the question. You can change the font color, font size, put a fun fact here about yourself. And again, you can delete the question if you'd like. And then the selfie. So some of you inserted a selfie earlier if you were in the earlier workshop or in a different workshop with me. Do you have to do a selfie? You don't. You could put a picture. But to do a selfie, in case if there's any newbies in here that haven't attended another workshop, which is perfectly fine, you go to Insert. And then under Insert, I go to Image. So Insert Image, and then Camera. So right here, I have a camera built in. You might have to give it access if you've never used it before. You might have to, I cover up my camera when I'm not using it. And so when I'm ready to take a picture, all I have to do is click on this icon, the camera icon. And kind of, if some of you use Seesaw, it's similar to, you know, in Seesaw, clicking on the camera icon. And then once I click on it, if I like it, I can hit Insert. If I don't like it, I can hit Cancel and take another one. So what I can do, I've got this selfie here. I can go ahead and delete this text box here. And then I can move this over here. Do I have to delete that text box? I don't have to, but I can if I want to, if I just want to clean it up. I put that text box there so that people know that they need to put a picture there. They can move this around as well. And then later on, I'll teach you some things you can, how else you can format that picture. Some of you might already know how to do that, so feel free to do that. I'll be quiet for a minute here and see if there's any questions. Okay, so, all right, Cindy will help you. Cindy, what slide are you on? Or maybe we can find it here too. or if anybody else sees that. Cindy, are you on slide 16? Okay, perfect. So if you're okay with me walking you through this, then come up here and click where I just clicked, and then just type your name. And I can, so go ahead, you can, from slide 16, even though my picture might be on slide 16 too, you can go ahead and type there if it's allowing you to. Okay. Oh, okay. So slide 16. So just click within that text box and type there. So on a slide, you've got a blank canvas, and if you want to type on a slide, you do need to insert text boxes. And that's what I did for this template here in the beginning. And then I know I haven't gone over how to insert a YouTube video, but some of you already are inserting one. All right. Cindy, can I ask, are you using an iPad? Are you using a Chromebook or laptop, a Windows device, or a Mac? Okay, using a desktop. And you were on it earlier. And did you exit full screen? So maybe my screen's off to the side and you can have your screen on the left-hand side. Or have two windows, maybe your window either right or left of my shared screen. Anybody have tips or tricks that can help me help Cindy? So someone figured out how they can insert a new slide here? Yep, you can. If you're wanting the template though, the anonymous hippo, you might want to just go down to a blank slide and then start putting your name there. You don't have to, you can start from where you had, oh, they deleted it. Okay, but that's fine. You figured out another way you could add some more slides in. Yeah, Jonna, any tips on your side that you can help me help Cindy that I'm not saying? Cindy, are you, here's a question. Are you in the Google Chrome web browser? I didn't say that in the beginning. Did you type the bit.ly link or copy and paste it in the Google Chrome web browser? Because if you're in a different browser like Safari or Microsoft, you don't always have all of the same functions and tools in the different web browsers. Okay, you're on Google Chrome. Okay, so take a deep breath, Cindy. Sometimes this happens. If you don't mind, maybe, you know, you can see what your fellow educators, your fellow teachers are doing, seeing what they're adding, and then we can help you one-on-one if you have time after. Or unless if I think if other people have suggestions there in chat, feel free to put that in there. Cindy, I'm going to stop sharing my screen for a moment and see if that helps. Can you access it now? Do you have any? Okay, you can't see it anymore? Perfect. Okay, so what I need you to do then is go up to a new tab. And can you put the link in a new tab so you can access it? And maybe try it that way. So I'm going to share my screen again. And so right here in the middle of your screen, Cindy or anyone else, if you want to exit full screen, you click on, I don't know if it's like a broken rectangle or square or what icon is showing up, because your screen looks different than mine. But if you can click on that, there's a spot where you can exit full screen. So then you can have another window on the left-hand side that you can then manipulate this Google slide deck. But again, if it's frustrating you, take a deep breath and maybe just watch us for now, and then we can help you one-on-one here in a second. Or if anybody can jump in and help out Cindy on the back end too, feel free to do that. So as I'm looking here, people have been able to fill this out. Some people are getting their YouTube video or getting a YouTube video there. Some people are putting more pictures. That is fine. For this first, anytime when you're introducing a new app or tool to the kids, sometimes let them play around with it. But again, even though I put this template out there, does it have to look exactly like my template? No, I did that since we have varying levels in this workshop. So what Catherine's doing here is perfect. She even put her Bitmoji. Love it. Here we've got Jillian. Put her picture here. I don't know if it's a selfie, but if not, that's fine. It could be a photo that she had taken at another time. And then she put in a video here. So let me show you how to do a video. Or Jillian, since I'm on yours, do you feel comfortable unmuting and walking your colleagues through how to insert a video into Google Slides?
I don't know how to share my screen on here.
Okay.
But I just went up to the,
a couple different things, Jillian. If you feel comfortable, I can teach you how to share your screen, or I can share mine and you can walk them through.
You can share yours. I'll just walk
Okay.
through.
I'll try to keep up with you here.
Okay, I just went up to the top where it showed insert and clicked on that, and then I went to video.
Okay.
Went ahead and clicked on that, and then I just went ahead and typed in Husky because I liked the funny videos of that. And then once I scrolled through and found the one I would like, I think I chose the first or second one.
Okay.
Once I clicked on that, then I went ahead and hit select, and it popped up right there.
Okay, and it pops up right, yeah, perfect.
Then I just resized it to fit on my page.
Okay, awesome. All right, so thank you, Jillian, for sharing with us how to do that. So just to recap what Jillian just said, she went to insert and went to video. Now, what she did, she searched for Huskies. Do you have to search for it? No, let's say you already have a video you want to share out on the slide deck with your students, whatever it is. You can copy the URL, that's just the link of the video. It's URL stands for Uniform Resource Locator. It's the web address of it, and you can paste it here. I think someone mentioned that they had a link to their video. You will want to paste it here. Again, it was under Insert Video, and come up here and put by URL. If not, if you go here to search, you can search any videos out there, and it will pull up the videos here that you can just put it in. If you have videos in your Google Drive, you can then access your Google Drive and get the videos from your Google Drive as well. We just had a Screencastify workshop earlier, so some of you who have your screencast that you created, you can even put your screencast right in the slide deck here as well. So Jillian, don't panic, I will delete this here. And then it's right here. And then you can resize it like Jillian just said. So another thing, I don't know if you saw.
Question about the Screencastify. Are you going to insert video to attach that, or insert link?
Insert video. Yeah, good question. Even for Screencastify. So insert video. And if I already had the link, if I copied the link when I was on Screencastify, I could just paste the link there. But if I didn't copy it ahead of time, it's in my Google Drive. And here's the videos that I have in my Google Drive, and then I can select it from there. Yeah, great question. Does that answer what you were asking, Brenda?
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome. So then, I don't know if you noticed, when we inserted a new video here on Jillian's screen, over here you get format options. You've got some options that you can play around with for video. Now, if for some reason you see this format option is away, you're like, oh, what happened to that? That happens, especially when you're first learning a new tool. Don't panic. If I have the video, I'm selected on it right here. Do you see that I've got the squares around it? I've selected my video. If I come up here, I have format options right here. I click on that, and then here I've got my format options. So what are my format options? I've got it to start at. So if I want this video, if I don't need the kids to watch this entire video, and I want it, so this video is 18 minutes long. If I only want them to watch maybe the first 3 minutes, or from 1 minute to 2 minutes or whatever, I can put that in here. So let me just go ahead and put in, I'll put 60 seconds here, and then I'll have it end at, let me just end it at 2 minutes and 43 seconds. So what's going to happen? Do you see where it's starting at 1 minute? My red line, it's going to start at 1 minute. It doesn't start at the beginning. I already see that red line there. So it's going to start it at 1 minute, and then it's going to play it through to 2:43. Also, when I am playing, if I'm in presentation mode, I can have this autoplay. So it starts playing when I'm in presentation mode. I can mute the audio if I need to. And then down here, I've got some other options with the video playback as well. So I can resize it here, or like Jillian said, she just took the handle here and resized it right from the handle. I think that's what she said. Was that correct, Jillian? You just resized it from the handle here?
Yeah, that's correct.
Okay. But again, you've got options over here. So you just click on that arrow here, and then it will give you some other options. So this is the video playback option here for video. So to insert a video, so that you don't get that URL link, all you have to do is go to insert video, and voila, you can insert your video from a search, a URL, or from even your Google Drive. So any other questions about video? Okay, so hopefully you'll take a minute here if you haven't already got, I said a funny video, but do you have to put funny video? No, you can do whatever you'd like. And I don't know, another thing here, if some of you noticed. I put the directions here on slide 1, but I also then on the template, I had the directions there, because would you know, think about kids. Would kids always maybe go back to the first slide? Maybe not. So anytime you can put the directions multiple places, it will help out. Another thing with directions in Google Slides, do you see these speaker notes right here? You could even put the directions down here. Working with my son during remote learning, who's 13 years old, he had directions on another document. So he had to toggle back and forth between the Google Doc and Google Slides. And what I did for him, because again, that was frustrating him. So I just copied and taught him how to copy and paste the directions from his Google Doc and put it on the bottom of each slide. So he had it right there. He didn't have to go back and forth. That's a big thing with remote learning, whether it's with you learning or your students learning. If you have to have several different tabs open and go back and forth to between those tabs, that can get confusing. So a trick with whether it's remote learning, blended learning, whatever it is, you know, put the direction in multiple places, but then also here in Google Slides, if they're not using speaker notes for something, then you could put the directions there as well. Another thing here about Google Slides, you've got 2 different views. I am just, you know, used to Microsoft PowerPoint and used to this, this view here, but I could also have the grid view and see the slides this way as well. So it just is what you get used to. And then whichever view I'm on, do you see there's a number 1 here? It's the comment box. So you can make comments on other people. So thank you, Jonna, for making a comment here on Brenda's. And you can see how you can make comments. Jonna, would you like to explain how to make comments? You can either share your screen if you feel comfortable. You can walk me through it on my screen, or you can decline altogether. Okay, so she doesn't have video or audio. Okay, no problem. But that's another thing I like to do, whether it's with students or educators. I like to have other people talk and explain things and show things as well. Because again, you don't necessarily want to hear me talk for the next 2 hours of this workshop. And sometimes you as the educator or teacher can learn something new or different how someone else does something. So for example, last workshop, I think it was Jessica, she was putting a comment on a Google Doc. And when she did the comments, she went up here and added the comment. I've never done it that way, but you can do it that way. So I know Jessica had to leave us already today, but thank you, Jessica, for sharing that with us. But how I usually do comments, you know, if I want to make a comment, I can come up here and add comment. And right here, it just comes up, add comment. I can put whatever comment I need, whether it's just a comment to Brenda, or if it's a question asking Brenda something. So then I can hit comment. If I wanted to ask a question to Brenda and wanted to make sure it brought attention to Brenda, what I could do is come up here and add comment, and then add either the plus sign or the @ symbol. It does the same thing. Anytime I hit the plus sign or @ symbol, it kind of brings up people that in my Google account that I've emailed here recently, or just their contact information. So if I wanted to, I know Becky is in my contacts, so I'll just pull up Becky's here. And if I want to assign something to Becky, so if I put Becky's email address, it was already in my Google contacts, and I could say, you know, can you add more pictures to this slide, or whatever it is. And what's going to happen then is this will assign it to her. She will also get an email that she's notified, because when I just put a comment out there, it won't send them an email. They would have to see the comments when they're in this Google Slides. But if I put the plus or the @ sign, it will assign them the comment, and it will give them an email that they have something to do. So if you're wanting, the biggest complaint from teachers, they say they put comments on students' work, but the students never then resolve those comments or look at them. So this way, if they don't open up the Google slide deck again, they can see it here in their email, and then they can click on it from their email and it opens it up from there as well. So Becky, I don't know if you're on today for this workshop or not, but any of these comments, you can always delete them here. But I just thought I've been using your account because I've got you right in my system here.
Yep, no problem.
Thanks. And then also right here, so then what Becky can do, she can, once she resolves it, she can click on this check mark. If anybody else wants to see if you can click on that check mark, see what happens. So if anybody clicked on that check mark, then it resolves it and the comments aren't on the screen anymore. So one of the comments someone resolved. So if you come up here, so I will tell you this, whether it's, if kids are collaborating on a Google slide or a Google Doc, they, some of them have found out that they can chat back and forth between comments. Oh, when teacher walks around, when we're back face to face, they may resolve it so you can't see the comments. Well, guess what? Big Brother's always watching. If you come up here to open comment history, you can see all of the comments there. So we can see Kathy marked it as done. Perfect. Thank you, Kathy. Here, Carl marked it as resolved. And then Jennifer marked it as resolved. Let's say you were collaborating on this and you accidentally marked it resolved and it wasn't your action item. You can go back in and reopen it at any time. So you should have access to everything I am seeing, or everything you're seeing on my screen. You should have access to here as well, because this is an editable document. You have full rights to it, just like everyone else here in the training. All right, so as we can see, people were able to get selfies in there. If you're still unsure about the video and inserting a YouTube video, feel free to let us know, and we can help you, whether it's now or later. Here on slide 8, we already have Javier has his Bitmoji classroom. Perfect. We can maybe have you share some of your reasoning behind creating what you did on your Bitmoji classroom, and I can have you help talk about that too if you feel comfortable. And if I said your name incorrectly, please let me know as well. You can see some people put backgrounds in as well. Jana did there. And so then you could, some of these blank slides, you could go and clean up a couple different ways. You could right click on it and delete it. Could anybody go and delete it and clean this up? You sure can, because you have, all editing rights to it. And then you might be asking, well, what if, we've got Laura's picture here. Well, let's say there was another student in the class and, wasn't following protocol and put another photo in here on Laura's slide. Maybe put another animal, whatever it may be. And can we tell who did what on each slide? We can. We've got, you can see version history. Right now, again, you guys are all anonymous animals, so we won't show, we can't see that. But if I go over here, a couple different ways. One way, do you see where it says last edit was 2 minutes ago? You hover your mouse over that, you can open version history from here. If you click on that, it will show version history. Right now, it shows anything that I've done in this like aqua color, and you guys are all showing as anonymous users. But again, in the classroom setting, you will have this tied to your kids' student accounts, whether you're face-to-face or remote, and you can see what everyone's done. So, you know, if a student says, well, I worked on it last night and it's not showing anything, you can, you know, come over here to version history to see if they did work on it last night. If you don't see anything, again, if they were offline, maybe they would have to make sure they're connected, and it will upload their corrections or additions that they made. But it should say day and time, what they've done. It'll have it color coded of what they've worked on. So again, if you've got students working together on an assignment and Johnny isn't doing anything, and he says he did, you can go here to version history to look. You can even save copies of the version history. Another place you can go to version history is File, Version History. And then you can see the version history. Again, same thing here. You've got 3 dots here. You can name this version, make a copy. So you can show at 12:10 on July 27th, here's what everyone has done with version history. It shows up here 91 edits as well. So again, a great thing to teach with students to say that, hey, Big Brother is always watching. So what are your thoughts? Do you think you could do a Google Slides assignment with the kids and they're editing, working on it together? Today I shared this out with everyone in the group. You don't have to, you can send this out to Google through Google Classroom or through Seesaw and just have certain students collaborate on it. You don't have to have all the students work on the same Google slide deck or Google Doc or same file. So, but in this case, I wanted everyone to work on the same one. And then, as you can see, as people, you know, even during this remote learning time, we can get to know people out there. So I haven't met Edith before, but here we can get to know her about what she likes. And maybe she could even put a Zumba video in here that she's maybe even created during this time as well. All right, if you're still working on this, feel free to do this. We might visit this some more as we go throughout the workshop today. But that, we gave introductions here. And then before we get into the Bitmoji virtual classroom, a couple things I want to share with you. I know right off the bat that someone had asked the question, they want to be able to learn how to link within the slideshow. So if you see here on number 4 here, I have linked this Google Slides to go to my Google, slide 7. So if I click on that, it takes it directly to slide 7. I originally had this, let me just move it down here between slide 9 and 10. Watch what happens. So Google Slides, it's linked to this slide. Look, it changed it to slide 9. Why? Because I changed the position. So even if you change the position of the slide deck later on, your hyperlink will change to the current spot that it's at. So if I click on that, it will directly then take me to slide 9. So how do you hyperlink? So this hyperlink aspect is important, especially with that virtual classroom that you want to build. But even if you don't want to build that, you can hyperlink within your slides. You can even hyperlink in a Google Doc. So how do you do that? So all I have to do is highlight what I want. So whether it's words, a picture, and then I want to insert link. So let's say I want to insert the link to my virtual classroom. A couple different ways I can do that. I can come up here and hit insert link. Whoops, sorry, my mouse. That's usually the user, it's me. I'm doing something here. I can click on insert link there. I could hit Control K or Command K to insert link. Some of the keyboard shortcuts, the ones I've got memorized are the ones that I do on a daily basis. So it seems like with hyperlinks, I do this on a daily basis. So I just go and hit Control K or Command K. Those are the shortcut. Command K is for a Mac. Control K is for a Windows device. Now, right here, it's saying I'm going to link the Bitmoji virtual classroom. What do I want to link it to? I can paste a link here if I want it to go to another slide deck like I did there for Introduce Yourself. I could paste it to a web page. I could paste it to another file. I just need to paste the link here. I would have copied it first, okay? Or I can paste it, or I can, link it within this slide presentation. Okay, here's a trick. If you are linking it within your slide presentation, if you don't remember anything else from today, hopefully you'll remember this. If not, go back and play the recording here at this spot. I don't know how many minutes it's been recording, maybe 30, 40 minutes. When I want to paste links within a slide deck, do you see how some of these have names on it? So here's my slide 3, about me. Here's slide 4, it doesn't have a name. Slide 7, 8. If I'm not for sure what slide I want it, but I know that I've got titles here, how to get the titles, that's one thing to remember here. So if you want to be able to see the title, what kind of slides do you need to have? You need to have, if I go up to slide and look at my layouts, any of the slides that have the title layout in them, it will show the title when you hyperlink it. If this doesn't make sense now, it will if you start hyperlinking a lot in a slide deck. So let's say this slide deck was like 70 slides I had on it, and I want to link it to the Bitmoji virtual classroom. A shortcut for you then, if I didn't know what slide it was on, I could see it's in my title here. Why is it showing up there? Because I chose a title slide, and that was the layout. So if I click on that, it's going to link to my Bitmoji virtual classroom. So it's showing it's slide 11, that I've got it linked to that because that's what I put in for the title. So if I click on that, it'll go to that one. But if I wanted to go to number 7, I could just change it, remove the link, go ahead. Do I have to highlight everything? No, I can just highlight this classroom here and insert link. And then so the link would just be for classroom. And I could just go to slide 7. Why slide 7? Because I can look over here on my screen. It shows me slide 7. And then hit apply. And then if I see it's linked to slide 7. So let me just go ahead and create a new slide here. So what do I mean about the title, the layout? Any of the layouts that have title up here, as long as you put the title up here, it will show the title when you go to link it. If I go back to slide and I go to apply layout, if I have this title slide, I have this title and body right now, this title in 2 columns, title only, or title top, or title and content, it will show the title of that when I go to hyperlink it. If I just choose, let me just choose this one, and I'll just put hello, and let's say then I want to link to that slide. Go ahead and highlight what I want linked. And then slides in this presentation, if I go down to slide 7, oh, you know what? It's showing up now. Okay, hello. So it looks like maybe Google has fixed this and has incorporated it that you don't have to do the title anymore. So maybe ignore everything I just said. As you can see, it's always constantly changing and it's hard to keep up with all the changes. But I've just known, just from doing this, working with teachers earlier, they wanted, probably about 3 weeks ago, their names of their slides weren't showing up here, and we figured it out that you needed to have the title slide. But here, as you can see, I don't have the title slide, and it's still showing up for this layout, the main point. So I don't know if that's the case for all of them now, but always in the past, you had to have the one that said title to show up. So as you can see, it's not showing up on these because I didn't do any text boxes. I just have a background in there. I had just done a blank layout here. So that's why the titles aren't showing up. So let me go ahead and we'll delete that slide then. So as we can see then, it was showing up then even though I deleted that. Here, let me go and undo that. So if I go back and link that to slide 7, it is showing my title then. So what is it showing for the title? What I have in that text box then. So that's a nice added feature that they've incorporated. So as you can see, you can hyperlink within your slide deck, go out to the web, or even paste in the URL of whatever file you have. So if I come up here, here's another way I can do a quick new slide. If I click on this drop down arrow right there, I can choose the layout right away. Even if I decide I wanted a certain layout, I can always go back in and change it by going up here to slide and apply layout. Again, hopefully, the more you use this, the easier it will get to know where some of these tools and functions are. Again, I can right click here and hit delete. If I want to, I can duplicate a slide. So at any of the slides you can duplicate, or you've got all of these functions here. I don't know, I can even move a slide here to the beginning to the end. Earlier you saw when I moved, was it this slide? Yeah, I moved it down and up. I can just drag and drop it, and you see how when I drag or drop it, I've got that line. It's saying, do you want it to go between slide 4 and 5? And then when I release my mouse, it goes there. So I can even just highlight it and hit the delete key, and I can delete slides that way as well. Okay. So in the beginning, I had you go ahead and introduce yourself without me talking about everything you can do within slides. For some people, they like that. Some people don't. That might have stressed you out a little bit more. Again, that is my way sometimes getting the kids jumping into some files there and seeing what they know. Because if I saw that everyone knew how to take a selfie or how to insert a YouTube video, then I didn't have to waste everyone's time to talk about that. And then also I could see who knew what, and then I could draw upon those students, or I drew upon Jillian and reached out to Jonna, and I don't know if I reached out to anybody else in the session yet, that they could share what they know. So that is also another opportunity that you can create leaders in your classroom. And over time, whether it was face-to-face or remote learning, I try to get everyone the opportunity to share something if I knew that they knew that, because then they may take initiative to want to learn some more things than to help out. Now, some kids will say, oh, she knows that I know how to do that. So they might not jump in because they might not want to share. But again, sometimes that's how to build up some of those students, to give them buy-in and to give them recognition of their knowledge of what they know. All right, so then here on slide 7, so to create a new presentation, some of you who are new to Google might think, well, how the heck did she open up this Google Slides? So if you wanted to create a new presentation, there are multiple ways you can go about doing that. You can go and open up a new tab and type in slides.google.com. You can go to the waffle, you can go to Google Drive, or you can even go to shortcuts. So what do I mean by these? So if I go to a new tab right here, This is what I mean. This Omni box right here, I can go ahead and type in slides.google.com and it will bring it up. Usually it does, but I had to type it in and it'll bring up slides for me. I can come over here to the waffle and I can find my Google Slides and open up slides that way. If I go that way to open it up, what's nice about this then, I can see all of the Google Slides presentations I have here, my recent presentations. I can have it owned by anyone, owned by me, not owned by me. I can filter it that way. I can also see a template gallery. If you don't see this template gallery and you would like to see it, I think your Google admin has control whether you see it or not. And again, might need to check with them if there's a policy your school district has. Sometimes the Google admin might not even know that they have control, that they can turn on the template gallery or not. And if you look at this, this gives you ideas of other ideas you can use in your classroom. You can also, in the template gallery, you can also have it for just Monmouth, Roseville. If there's a template out there a lot of teachers are using, they can share it out through the template gallery here. You can also go to general. This is what Google pushes out for different templates out here that you can use. Again, if you do have access to this, sometimes with students, you know, with the book report one, here's a template that when they're first starting something new, they can follow. You could give them choice if they would like to use this. They don't have to, but for some, they may need something to get them started on using Google Slides. So this is if I go into the waffle and go into the Google Slides app. But if you look back over here, you can also go through your Google Drive or shortcuts. So let me show you shortcuts. So if I knew I wanted to create a blank presentation, I could just type in deck.new and it will open up a new Google slide deck. I could also, I keep going to the wrong presentation, type in slides, slide or presentation.new. I'll give you a moment for you to try that, either accessing the waffle or trying to access a new presentation and see what you like. And there may be reasons why you go to a new one at times rather than go through the waffle. The waffle, if you know you might want a template, you might want to go that way. But a new one, if you know you want to just start a new presentation, you've got 4 different shortcuts there. There could be more out there. If anybody wants to Google it to see, feel free to put it in chat and let us know. Another way you could go to is Google Drive. So yeah, I'm showing you these ways for the Google Slides, but this works for many of the apps out there, not just for Google Slides. So here in my Google Drive, I could even right now go up to New and create a new Google Slides right here from my drive. So you got that way too. I forget about that way. Sometimes I usually don't go that way, but you can, and when you go that way, you do have the choice of doing a blank presentation or from a template right here as well. All right. I failed to say this in the beginning. Some of you who have been using Google Slides before, I've got some other links in here and resources for you to get some other information. If all of the stuff that we've been talking about is you already know. So, but if you already know and you feel comfortable, unmute yourself and I'll have you jump in while we're showing them some things here about the virtual classroom. So right here on slide 8, I've got just a virtual classroom here with different links to learn more about Google Slides and to learn more about Learning Technology Center. I've created I have 3 computers here, created links, one to my YouTube channel, one to different workshops you can attend, and then to our community that you can be a part of. So how do you do this? Or how do we know and how to create links? So the links are kind of similar to how I showed you how to hyperlink earlier, but don't panic, I'll go over that again. If I go here to slide 9, this is, you know, kind of starting off my, you know, when I'm starting off and adding things to it. So how do I do this? Let me go ahead and create a new blank screen or a blank deck here, or a slide. So if I go up here to background, I want to choose my background. If I choose image, I want a wall and floor background. That's what I personally chose. You can probably choose other backgrounds out there. Maybe Javier can walk us through how he created his in just a minute, and he can tell me the correct pronunciation of his name. So let's say I want this background right here. All I have to do is select it and hit insert. Can I change it at any time? I can. So as you can see here, I've got 2 different backgrounds, but again, I can go back and change them at any time. So if you want a couch or a chair, the next thing is to insert an image. And if you go up here to insert image, so earlier you inserted an image of your selfie. What we'll do here is we'll search the web. So if I want to search the web for, let's say, a couch. Whoops. What I want to search is, I'll put couch with transparent background. What that will enable you to do is put it in there without the background. So let's say I want that couch. I hit insert, and I can put the couch in there, just like Jillian showed or told us earlier, that you click on the handles and you can resize it, you can move it. If I don't search without a transparent background, you'll get pictures of a couch that might have backgrounds in it, and you might not want that background in there. So here's the difference. Well, it didn't like me that. Didn't want me to use that image. Let me just choose this one. So see, I have that background in there. So that's why you want that transparent background. Now let's say you really like those couches and you want to get rid of that background. If you, in this slide deck, and feel free, people can drop in chat if you use other resources. Here on slide 13, there's other web pages out there that you can remove backgrounds from pictures, or you can even edit a photo. So you could check out those 2 resources if you want to get into it and you find pictures that have a background already. When I created mine, I just searched for images with a transparent background. You don't have to if you don't want to. And then, you know, looking up here, I search for a rug. I search for bookcases, a computer monitor, books, a flower. So again, if I'm creating that, go back up here to insert image, search the web, and I just come over here, and if I want to type in rug with transparent background, and then choose the rug you want, hit insert, and then again, you can move it around the page, you can resize it. Let's say do you see how it's going? It's angled that way. What if I want to angle the other way? A trick to this is, do you see these handles here? To flip it, I can just flip the handle to flip the image. There's other ways you can flip it. Come up here, do you see how I'm clicked on this picture? If I go up here to format options, I've got some other things. I can change the size and rotation. position. I can do a reflection, a drop shadow. So there's other things I can manipulate on this as well. I can also animate it if I want it animated, where it fades in on click or automatically or with previous or after previous. So it here with animation, you've got the different motions it says that you can do. And anytime you see these 3 coins, that means that there's motion tied to it. So I guess if I added animation here, it would show I've got it fading in on click. So when I click, it fades in. So stop. If I don't like that, then I can just go back and delete it so I don't have any animation to it. But do you see how when I'm clicked off of that, I have a different toolbar up here. But when I'm clicked on an image, I've got some options here that I can do with that image. Javier, do you, will you unmute if you can and tell us how to pronounce your first name, and if you want to share?
Yes, it's Javier. I just do the same thing. I usually look for icons, like the television, it's an icon, because the icons used to have no background.
Okay.
And they used to be PNG that somebody is telling in the chat. And that's
So yeah, thank you, Jonna. I don't know, Javier, if we lost sound or.
the same thing, looking for different pictures. That is a background. I just living room, go to images.
Okay, perfect. And your sound, at least for me, is going in and out. I don't know if it is for anybody else out there.
Oh, sorry, my internet is horrible today.
Yeah, no worries. And
Yeah.
I hate that. And just, yeah, that's why it's so important to record things, whether it's for your students or whatever, so then they can go back in case if they miss something, or if they have young, siblings or adults in the household that's interrupting them as well. So I appreciate you trying to share there, Javier, but both Javier and Jonna said that, yeah, instead of using transparent background, you could search for the PNG images as well. So again, different ways to do the same thing. You do what works best for you and how it works for you. If you see here, I've got, my Bitmoji there. If you haven't created a Bitmoji, that's fine. On slide 11, you can create that. You don't have to create it through Snapchat anymore, but let me show you here something about the Bitmoji, and I'll walk you through how to create your own. But here I've got this picture. If for some reason I needed her to sit a different way, like to maybe come sit in this chair, and wanted her turned to the right, again, I just click on the handle and I can flip the picture to go the opposite way. There's another way to do it. I don't know if it's up here in tools. Honestly, that's the way I've always learned to do it, but I know there's another way to do it. Now, let's say I wanted her to, this image to be behind the couch. So what I could do, I could right click on here and I could order. So right here with order, I can send it backwards. Sometimes if that doesn't work, go back to order and send to back. And so when I send it to back, I could have her peeking over the couch, and that's how you can get images in front or behind one another. So again, if I want her back to the front, I just have to click on that picture and then go to order and bring to the front, and then I can bring her back to the front. But anytime when you right click on an image, here you get some of the same tools that are up here. So earlier we showed you how to animate or format options that we've got. Another thing we can do with images is we can crop them. So let me Oh, okay, so not all images will it do that with. So let me just go back to her. Do you see I can crop this image, but then also if I mask this image right here, I can put this image into a shape if I wanted to. Let me just do that shape right there. And then it didn't change it because when I just changed that shape, it just changed it to oval and I don't have a background to it. But if I change it, let me see, just put it to an arrow. Do you see how then it changed it to an arrow? In this case, that doesn't do it any justice, but just know that any photos, any images you have, you can turn into shapes. Like if I come up here to this photo, if I wanted to turn that into a shape, if I put it in a cloud, do you see what it does to that photo? So sometimes if you see images have different shapes on them, that's how you do that. So again, you click on an image and then you come up here to where it says crop image, and to the right, you've got this drop down arrow where you can mask that image. You've got shapes. Let's say I wanted rounded corners on my photo. There, I can get rounded corners for that image. And you can do that with different images that you put in here as well. So another thing here, you know, I can put a whiteboard. So I would have Jonna explain how she does the PNG, but she said her audio's not working. But if we go up here to insert image, search the web, and Javier, I don't know if this is how you do it as well, or Jonna, feel free to put it in chat. Let me put whiteboard. Okay, and whiteboard PNG, I think that's what they said. Click on that, then I can get images of a whiteboard. And I can insert it and have it without the background as well. So as you can see, again, a couple different ways. Now, in order to type on this whiteboard, I need to insert a text box. That's how I do it. There could be other ways, and feel free if you do it a different way, unmute or put it in chat and let us know. Here's the text box, and then here's where I can type the message. Okay. So the big key thing is when you are inserting images is finding images with transparent background or with searching them as a PNG file. If not, you could use some of those other websites out there to remove the backgrounds. That's just an added step. Now, if you look at this couch here, I've got it linked here. How do I know it's linked? If I'm in presentation mode, when my mouse hovers over it, do you see it turns to a hand? It's linked to something else. So you would have to explain that to your students, that if they want to see if there's links to stuff, is that when they hover their mouse over it, then it links it to something else. So I linked it to a video. I don't remember.
When I first saw this product, I thought.
Okay, so, oh, I linked it to a Gary Brooks video here. So again, you could link it to, some people are putting different books. You could link to different resources out there for that book, or if there's something on YouTube out there, you could link that. How do we link that? Good question. A couple different ways. You can just click on the image and come up here and link it. I always go hit Command K. For some reason, that whiteboard, I don't know what I did differently to that. I'll try to figure that out later. Sorry about that. So to link this chair, so again, I can click on the chair, and sometimes it's not, okay, what am I doing wrong? It's not letting me link. So if it's not letting you link, what you can do, there's another What? So do you see this couch? Sorry about this here. This couch right here, I can come up here and insert link. And just like I did those hyperlinks earlier within the slide deck, I can link it to another website. I linked it to a YouTube video out there and I hit apply. Now, here for some reason, okay, the link's right there. So if I click on this chair, and was it there earlier and I just missed it? I can link it there. But if for some reason the link's not there, so the link's not there here on this whiteboard, I could draw a shape on it and link it to it. So right here, what I did, I put a rectangle here, and then I could link this rectangle to a link. So how did I do that? I can come up here to the drawing, to my shapes here. Okay. If I go up here to shapes and I put a shape on here. Now, when I put a shape on there, it might take away what I had there. So what I would have to do with that shape is go here to the paint bucket and make it transparent so I can see what's behind there. I can change the width of the line here if I want, or I can make it shown. Now, with this then, with this shape, I can link it. So right here, I can hit insert link, and I could link it within this presentation, or go and link it to a website. And so I've got a link there. So anytime, once I put a link there, if I decide I don't want it anymore, or I want to change it, I can remove the link. I can go and edit it and put in the correct link there, or I can even copy the link if I need to copy that for some reason. So I've got copy, edit, or remove at any time. Now, did you see earlier when I moved the link, or when I moved this whiteboard, I didn't have this, the hello didn't move with it. So what I could do, I could, if I click on the hello, and then I click on the whiteboard. So the hello was a text box, and then I right click. What I can do, I can group them. So it says ungroup right now because I had it grouped. So if I hit ungroup, what's going to happen then when I move this, or when I move it, it wouldn't move together. Okay. So if you were moving around your page a lot and you didn't want to have to keep moving everything, what you would do is then group it. So click on the text box, hold down your control key, click on your whiteboard, right click on it, and then I want to group it. And group, am I missing it? It's not showing up there. Okay, I did something wrong. Okay, hold down the control key. Maybe I held down the wrong key. Click on group, and then it groups it. So every time I move that, the word hello goes with it exactly where I want it to go. But as you can see, you can right click, you can ungroup it at any time. You can also go to format options here as well. All right, I know this is a lot to take in. I do want to give you some time. I know I haven't talked about all of these slides. I will talk about a Bitmoji extension if you need me to, but I want to give you time to play around with Google Slides, get you started if you want to start creating your Bitmoji classroom, and then to be in this setting to ask questions if you need help. So I'm going to give you 15 minutes here to play around with this. Again, if you've already created this like Javier has, and he wants to go through the slide deck and look at some other things, again, I've got links here. You can learn about tall tweets if you want to, or learn about sound here, how you can incorporate sound here on slides. Go ahead and look at this. Click on these different links to find out about that. But if not, I want to give you time to open up a slide and start creating a Bitmoji virtual classroom if you want, and ask questions if need be. And yeah, but if you already know how to, you want to look at the slide and look at some of the other resources here, please do so. But before you start going, are there any general questions on what I'm asking right now? Okay. All right, so someone's asking about Bitmoji, so I will explain how to do that. If you already know how to do that, go ahead and start on your Bitmoji virtual classroom, or looking at some of the other resources there, because you may not want to create a Bitmoji virtual classroom. I understand. Okay, so this Bitmoji extension, what this will allow you to do is to use your Bitmoji on different files out there. So let me turn mine on. And so my Bitmoji, if I wanted to put a Bitmoji here on slide 10, what I could do, come up here to Bitmoji, and I know you haven't got this yet, we'll help you. I can search my Bitmoji if I want. I can see the recent ones I've used. I can, see the different ones that they've got out here. All right, so this one looks good. This milkshake looks good right here. So I'm going to right click on it and just copy this image. So then if I right click here, I can paste the image and get the image right here on my slide deck. So how do you get this Bitmoji extension? So if you go to this link here on slide 11, this will take you to the Chrome web store. Now with your school account, you may not be able to add a Bitmoji extension. You might have to do this if you have a personal Google account. Go and try this on your personal Google account. Don't panic. That's how majority of schools are, just for the safety and security for staff and students. They can only push out the extensions, because some of these extensions on the back end, they need access to your websites you visit. They may need access to your Google Drive. So that's why, I don't have time, or I didn't have time as a teacher to know about all of these extensions and everything on the back end that they do. So that's when I, trusted my tech person to know whether or not I could add this extension or not, because they knew, or they could research what kind of data or information these extensions were collecting from teachers and students. So then anytime you add an extension, again, it's probably to your personal account. So I don't know if Jessica, if you have a personal account and you can jump over to that and try it with your personal account. All you would have to do then is add this to Chrome. When you add it to Chrome, then you have to give it permissions to whatever it asks, to be able to access your Google Drive or whatever. With the Bitmoji, I don't remember what it needed access to. And then you can go and start using your Bitmoji off of, based off of that. So again, to use your Bitmoji, all you have to do then up here on the extension bar, go select the Bitmoji that you want, or you could search, and then right click on it and just copy. And then when you copy it, all you have to do then, go to the slide you want to put it at and paste it in, and it goes there. Again, you can resize it. You've got format options. You can animate it. You can do a lot of different things to it. Okay, so Catherine's saying extension works on her school account. Okay, perfect then. Okay. Okay, so great question, Jessica. So were you, let's see. And if you can unmute, feel free to unmute. Were you right here? Did you click on this Bitmoji extension?
Yes.
Okay. And do you feel comfortable? Do you want to share your screen? And we can walk you through adding this extension to your account?
Yeah. How do I share my screen?
Okay, great question. And I stopped sharing my screen. So at the bottom of your screen, do you see a green button that says share screen. It's on your Zoom screen. Or it's a green icon. Oh,
Yep.
perfect. Okay.
Okay, so can I make this full screen?
Yeah, make it full screen. Perfect.
So I can't click on this. I don't, like when I click on this, I don't know what to do.
Okay, great. So I am so glad that you're asking this. So what you're going to have to do is go out to the Google Play Store, or if you're on a Mac, the App Store, and go and create your Bitmoji first.
So I install this.
Yeah, go ahead and install.
Okay, but I don't want to use it on my phone. I want to use it on this computer.
Okay, hit the drop down arrow and let's see.
It doesn't let me.
For anybody else who's just put, okay, keep it there, Jessica, for a second. Anybody else out there, are you getting the same? You have to create a Bitmoji account first? Okay, so Catherine is saying you first have to create it on your account. It's been a while since I've done this, so thank you, Catherine. I forgot about that you have to create it on your phone and customize it on your phone first, but then you'll be able to access it from your computer once you add the extension to your Google Chrome.
Okay.
Okay. So a few extra steps here. Yeah, so I forgot to share that about you have to create your avatar first. And yeah, the only way to create it is using Android or Apple, the iOS system. Does that help, Jessica, or have we confused you even way too much?
No, I'm totally with you. I just don't know what to click here.
Oh, do you want to share your screen again then?
I think I still am.
Oh, are you? Okay. Oh, yep, you are. The default one, which one was the default one?
There wasn't one.
Oh, there wasn't. Okay.
No,
Anybody
I
who's
think I'm
done
gonna click this one.
done this recently, which one did you click on?
No, I'm just gonna go for it.
Okay.
So it says it's installed.
Okay. But you know what? You're not, this is the screen you're sharing with us right now isn't, this isn't your Samsung phone, is it?
No, this is my computer.
Okay. So what you'll need to do is what you just did now, you'll have to go out and do on your Samsung phone and go to Google Play and download it, create your avatar, and then you'll come back here and go to the Chrome extension.
Okay, I get you.
So, yeah, and you know, when you're doing this later, you need help, feel free to either, you know, reach out to me or someone else that's in here that they can help you.
Bitmoji.
Yeah, thank you for asking, Jessica. Yeah, if you don't have a smartphone, anybody know any way around creating this? I don't know if Bitmoji came out with any other way that you could create it, but again, in the past, it was always only using the Android operating system or the iOS operating system on an Apple. So my apologies.
Mm.
But besides your Bitmoji, you can still create a virtual classroom. And you could even put an image in there of yourself instead of your Bitmoji. Okay, and Catherine shared a link in there for a pre-made class that you could use as well. Yeah, and Catherine, feel free to share those if you want. If you want me to include them on the slide deck, I can as well. And I like how Catherine said she stole some of them. What's nice about this is she really didn't. As long as she had permission from the owner, people are sharing like never before. She would just have to watch out that if she did borrow anyone's Bitmoji classroom that they shared out there with everyone to use, that she didn't remake it into her own and then tried to sell it on Teachers Pay Teachers. Yeah, no, Catherine, I believe you. There are tons of free resources out there that people are doing. I've got links here on slide 12 of tons out there as well. Yeah, and Brenda's talking about that Facebook group on slide 12. I added that. If you know others, let me know. Also, if you're ever on Twitter, you can look it up on Twitter too. So Jessica, thanks for asking those questions. If you've got other questions, feel free to ask. Okay, Edith's asking a question, how do you put an image behind another one? Perfect question. Let me share my screen and I'll show you again. And then after I give you time here, I will show you a few other things. So here on slide 12, again, if you've already created this or you don't care to create one, you can see some examples out there. Like Catherine said, there's tons of examples out there that people will let you use that they've already created and maybe spent hours on it. There's also, you know, if you want to find examples on Twitter, there's another hashtag, and I think there might be a website out there too. This stands for Teachers Give Teachers, that teachers are sharing free resources out there. There's also, I think, like Brenda said, that Facebook group, Bitmoji Craze for Educators, and that will fill your feed of all of these classrooms teachers are creating. So going back to Edith's question, if I wanted to put this Bitmoji, this avatar of me behind the couch, I just right click on it and I go to order. And then I can hit send to back, and then I can see that it's sent to the back. And that's all I have to do. If later on I decide I want it back to the front, just right click on it, go to order, and bring it to the front. For other people who created their own, feel free if you want to put links in there. Catherine or Javier, if you guys want to unmute and talk about what you've done, feel free to do so. I'll give you about 5 more minutes and then we'll talk more about some things in the slide deck. And I've got up on the screen Facebook, the Bitmoji craze for educators that you could join. Yeah, great question, Nancy. And Catherine, yeah, is correct that there's a certain size, and that's what I was trying to look to see what size it is. And Jonna sent out a link for a custom banner. So perfect. Because I can't remember the size. So yeah, I created a custom banner here. But I was thinking maybe it was it 4 by 10? Let me look. Yeah, when I did the search, it's not coming up. I'd have to look to see. I can get you the answer later probably, but does anybody know? Besides, there are some custom banners out there, but it might be under this folder, this Bitmoji resources out there too. So, you know, changing, how do you change the size of a slide? If you go up here to File and Page Setup, this is where you would change it before. You'd want to change it before you create it, because if I went to change it right now, that it would mess up all of my slides. So before you start creating something, you want to change it. And do you see the default is the widescreen 16:9, but what you would want to do is a custom. And this is where you would change the width and the height. So if I was hoping to find mine, but if I search my Google Drive, if I created it in a Google slide, it's owned by me. Let me just, it's of course not coming up right now of where I think I should have it. I think I created it under another slide deck. So yeah, I'll have to go and figure that out. So if anybody, I'm sure we can Google it real quick too to find out what size we need to have our slide deck. But if I just come up here to deck.new and create a new slide deck, again, you'll want to change the size of it before you begin, because if you don't, you'll have to change your images and everything after you change it. So to change it, go to File, Page Setup, and you can do a custom. So if I do a 4:10, no, maybe 10:4. Yeah, it might be this one. And then again, there's also links out there. So John and I think Catherine put some links in there. I know, yeah, other people have links to get the custom header as well. And I think that's what Jonna and Catherine were talking about. So just where I just showed you under changing the page setup, sometimes even people use Google Slides as like a notebook, and they change the page setup to 8.5 by 11. Sometimes they use it to create, you know, a flyer. So a Google slide deck doesn't always have to be used for a presentation. You can use it for other things. So if you look at some of the resources, let me jump to some of the resources here. Yeah, because we're getting close to time. Here's some awesome resources here. There's a lot more out there, but hopefully this will be a few to get you started on your journey of incorporating Google Slides in your classroom. Just like, you know, showing you how to hyperlink within the slide deck. It's perfect for storytelling. Choose your own adventure story. So they could hyperlink based on if they choose to go to the left or choose if they go to the right. They could have links to go to different slides to continue the story. You can even create comic strips. So again, if you aren't creative and you think, well, how the heck do you create a comic strip? Let me share another resource here with you. We might be able to get it under the sample template from a Jeopardy game. So again, here's a sample template from Jeopardy. Eric Kurtz, he has a wealth of different templates out there that you can use in your classroom. My suggestion, anytime that you are sharing material out there for other teachers to use, make sure you are putting in your attribution rights and also making sure your name is on every slide so that if other teachers use it, then it makes it harder for them to copy it and try to resell it. They could copy it and use it in their classroom, but it makes it harder for them to use your exact template and go out there and then put it out there to try to make money on it. But here, Eric Kurtz shared this Jeopardy template here that you can make a copy of it and then create this for your own students. And you type in the question here, and then you click to see answer here. So you put the answer here. It's linked. This is linked to the next slide for the answer. You can have it linked to whatever slide you want, but that just kind of shows you where it goes. Type your answer here. So then these are all linked. This one is linked to slide 4. This one's linked to slide 16. So he took time to go and link this for you. And you make a copy and you can link it, or you don't have to link it. You can just put in your material that you want to use for your class right now. Eric Kurtz, so this is one thing he shared with us. If you go out to his website, Control-Alt-Achieve, you could spend hours upon hours there. I will tell you, I would love to spend more time with all of his materials, and I just haven't made time. So right here, this is his blog, and this is where he shares his information. If you go under resources, everything that I've seen him share has been free. So this is again why I like using Eric's resources here. So if you want to learn about Google Drawings and incorporate that into your classroom, click on Google Drawings to learn more about examples and things you can use with your students. Google Slides, click on Google Slides here, and here he's got links to all of his things. Here's the Jeopardy game template that I showed you earlier. And Jonna agrees, yeah. Eric has a lot of material out there. Jonna, have you ever seen him charge for anything? And so that's why I always, look to that. One thing, if you haven't noticed, if you even do a search for Google Innovators, Google has another on their certification journey. You could become a Google Innovator. It's a select few. They only allow so many in a year. And those innovators have to come up with something, to help either students or educators, or they have to identify a problem and try to solve that problem to be a Google Innovator. And what Eric did with his is he created this blog to share resources out. But there's tons of other Google Innovators out there that if you Google it, define, some of them will share their resources for free, but what I have found with some, they started making a business out of it and started charging for some. They'll offer some free, kind of hook you in, and then once you like some of their free stuff, we'll try to convince you to take some of their workshops or classes that charge or that cost. And some of the costs for some of the classes, I think another teacher went out there and looked, and it was like $295. So I guess if you have that kind of money, kudos and good for you, that you can learn that way. But if you don't have that kind of money, don't panic. There's ways that you can learn and from people who are sharing their resources out there. So that's another one here. Another thing, Slides Mania. This is worth taking a look at. Paula created these. She's from Canada. She's not even in education. This is her way of contributing to educators and helping out. She has created these slides out there that are blank templates that you can use. You can use them in Google Slides, and I think even she can. They even work in PowerPoint. But here's one of the latest ones I looked at. These file cabinets, a template for Google Slides for blended learning. So here's, you can download it, make a copy, and use it if this so fits your needs. So if you follow along here, sometimes if she created it in Google Slides, you can just download and make a copy using Google Slides right here. Click on using Google Slides, and then you can make your own copy. She's got, yeah, some others here. Everything I've seen for her, she wants to offer for free. This is one thing though. There was someone took one of her templates, put their Bitmoji in it, and then put it out on Teachers Pay Teachers to try to make money off of it. So that's makes me sad. So that's why anytime, if you do use Teachers Pay Teachers, look to see if it's out there anywhere else that maybe you can even get it for free instead of having to pay for it. So, and then again, that's against copyright that someone did that. So then here's her slideshow. All you have to do is come up here and use template, and she has it available for you. So some people are asking in the chat, what's Eric's link? So his link to his material, I apologize, I didn't have it here, is Control-Alt-Achieve is his website. If I'll click on here and I'll add that into the slide deck as well. I had one of his links about the sample template in there, but let me just go ahead and put in Eric Kurtz, and I'll link his website there. And there you have it. And then, okay, Jonna put it there in the chat as well. Perfect. So again, you've got a lot of material to go back and look through. Hopefully this will get you started on your journey using Google Slides and or creating your Bitmoji virtual classroom. I didn't talk about it, but I was going through it while you were creating your virtual classroom here on Facebook. Here's the Bitmoji craze for educators. You can join, ask to join if you want. Also, if you go to Twitter and put hashtag virtual Bitmoji classroom, you can see a bunch of examples. Like I think Catherine and Jonna said, there's a lot that people are creating and they are linking and they are sharing with you that you can download for free. You can put your Bitmoji in there and use it with your class. So like on this one here, you've got, you know, they probably linked it to Flipgrid, maybe Class Dojo. So every time a kid would click on these different icons, it takes them to that website. So lots of different ways, gives you examples. And as you can see, it's kind of like a rabbit hole. Is, you know, you can spend hours upon hours creating this. You can create several different ones as well.
Lisa, I have a question about the links in your, you just said they click on that and then it goes to these other websites. If the websites like our reading program Wonders requires them to have a separate login, or our Go Math, or even Epic, when you link it on that, is it going to ask then the student for their login to it, or do you bypass all that?
Unfortunately, you don't bypass that. It will ask for their login. Now, if they save their login to their computer, then that might pop up, but they would have to enter their login information. Yeah, great question, Brenda.
So if we don't know all the students' logins yet for those different things, can we set it up with the link just to the regular, and then once they get their computers and log all in, it'll still work for them?
Yeah, so it'll just go to the home page. So you said Go Math as one of them?
Yes, we use Go Math and Wonders for reading.
Okay, so I don't know if you have it linked, like if you click here, copy the link here, and then do you see where it says sign in? They would have to then click on sign in and then put in their information. So yeah, what you could do, you could link it to Go Math. I'll just put Go Math here and then copy and paste the link. So then kids could go to that, click on it, but then they'll still have to sign in. I don't think there's a workaround unless if it's specific, if they have automatic, you know, a Google sign in or something for that, if, you know, if they play nicely with Google. I don't know if anyone can answer that on the back end with Go Math or.
Okay, do any of the other teachers from Monmouth Roseville that have used Classroom, Google Classroom, have any suggestions for me as a newbie with second graders that are trying to navigate all this?
Yeah, great question, Brenda. While people are maybe thinking about that, is it's just like with anything, you'll have to take time to teach them about, you know, the process, whether it's clicking on links or signing in. And then hopefully over time, it will get easier as they do it all the time. But you do usually have to take time, whether it's second graders, seventh graders, 12th graders. Sometimes you have to take time to teach how to go about signing in or going into Go Math. Or you said the other program was Wonder.
It's McGraw-Hill Wonders.
Okay. Yeah, great questions here. And Brenda, if you see in chat, Laura put some things in chat too. And hopefully, Brenda, you can work with some other second grade teachers and collaborate with them to see what works well with them. But again, how you might start off here in August, if we're in remote learning at different times throughout the year, you will only get better at it as the year goes on and see what works for your students. And if we would ever have to do remote learning again, you will maybe even change what you did this year in the future. So just let the kids know you're learning as well, and it's a process and you'll get through it. So you might not see them at the beginning, you'll get through it, but you will. And reach out to your other second grade teachers as well. I know, we're out of time here, but if you have time, I did create a Padlet that is another tool out there that you can collaborate on. And here on this Padlet, if you click on this link, you can add. So here, I just said, what do you like about Google Slides? And you can come down here and type in a title if you want and write something here of what you like about Google Slides. Do you guys have access to that? If anybody's here on slide 22, were you able to access this Padlet? If you do, if some of you feel comfortable putting that there, feel free. If you look at the slide deck, I didn't get through all of the slides here, but again, hopefully we met your needs about learning some new things, how to create a Bitmoji, or if nothing else, hopefully you got some ideas of how you can do remote learning with your students, what you like about, you know, learning virtually, so that you can maybe, you know, use collaboration with them as well. And then I think there was something else, but again, I end with the same quote by Maya Angelou. I did then what I knew how to do. Now that I know better, I do better. So hopefully from these workshops, you are picking up some new ideas of how you can incorporate remote learning, blended learning, whatever the school year may look like here in a few weeks with your students. So I wish you well, wish you that you are starting to start feeling comfortable being uncomfortable, not knowing everything. Reach out to people for help. feel free to reach out to me if you have questions or you want to do something with Google Slides and you can't find any templates on it. Let me know. We can see what we can find for you for free. So before you leave sometime today, if you have time to fill out this Google evaluation, I think it's 3 questions. And then again, appreciate your time, you giving up part of your day to be with us. So go enjoy the rest of your day, and I'll stay on for a little bit. If you guys have any questions, you can either ask me questions or ask the group more questions like Brenda asked earlier to see if people feel comfortable answering. I'll go ahead and stop recording this so that you can share, but I don't know if Becky or if anybody else from Monmouth Roseville has anything to say as well.